Okay, now this is our next thing. Factor the expression. That means what are two things you can multiply to come up with that is basically what factoring means. Like if you factor 18, well, you could factor that in two different ways. You can go 2 times 9, you can go 3 times 6, you can go 1 times 18. Now, nobody ever really factors a number, but they do have to factor expressions in order to solve them. So I'm going to use a red pen because I've been told you can't really see it. It's blurry, and I agree. It's a budget camera, so the red pen should help. Okay, so factor the expressions. 4x squared minus 8x plus 3. Now, all expressions today are going to have 3 terms, okay? So remember from yesterday, what do you do when you have to factor 3 terms? You make a GCF box. And then you make a T, okay? And we are going to want to know what A equals. Okay, really that's the way to set up 3 terms to be factoring. It's the surefire way every time. Now, if you are too lazy to do that, I cannot help you, okay? All right, GCF. We don't appear that we have a negative there. And by the way, let's underline all 3. Okay, all 3 of these do not contain x. That 3 is devoid of an x, so we can't do that. And if you go 4, 8, 3 into your calculator, it's just going to say the GCF's 1 again, okay? So there is going to come a point where it's not going to be 1, so you'll need to keep making that, okay? Just trust me, I know what I'm doing here. Okay, so I go A, B, C, okay? So again, it's A times C, and I'm going to take positive 4 times positive 3. Well, positive 4 times positive 3 is positive 12, okay? So it's positive 12. I'm looking for a sum that is going to equal 8, okay? Okay, so sum of 8, 1 and 12. 1 plus 12 is not 8. Forget it. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 2 plus 8 indeed is 2 plus 6 is 8. Okay. Now you got to put the signs on correctly. My b up here is an 8, but it's minus 8 or negative 8 means the same thing. So that means our larger number needs to have a minus. Okay. And a sum means the signs need to match. Now, this is why we need to look at what the A is. A is 4x squared this time, okay? So, I got a question. I'm going to write some things on here. You don't need to write. Can I just go x times x and say that's 4x squared? No, that's absurd, okay? It's 1x squared. Well, what do I do when it's a 4? Because you're like, well, you could go 2x times 2x, that's 4x squared, but couldn't you also go 4x times 1x? Well, I don't really want to just guess and have to get it wrong. So what you do if A is not a 1x squared is you need to make 4 parentheses as opposed to 2. And here's how you're going to do this. Your A is a 4, so put 4 and 4. And then we're going to break the x squared up so it's an x and an x. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, 4 times 4 is not 4. It's not going to stay that way, though. Okay? And then I can put my minus 2 and my minus 6. Okay? Now, I pair these up. So I look in this parentheses here. I want to divide those by the GCF of 4 and 2. So the GCF of 4, 2, if you have to do that on the calculator, I guess, but it's 2, okay? So that now turns into 2x minus 1, and then you need to go cross this off, okay, because that's no more. Okay, 4 and 6. Go 4, 6 into the calculator. It's going to be 2 again. So we divide by the GCF out of those 2, and that's 2x minus 3. Now watch what I do here, okay, on the pink paper. If I were to multiply that out, okay, I would take 2x times 2x, using my 1-2 procedure, I guess, okay. I would take 2x times negative 3. I would take negative 1 times 2x. And I would take negative 1 times negative 3, okay. So those are all first powers, okay. Watch what I'm doing here. It'll make more sense. So that's 4x to the second. That's negative 6x to the first. That's negative 2x to the first and positive 3. So check that, and then your highest power is a 2. You don't do this. This is just me. So you got 4. X, negative 6, negative 2 is negative 8. And then we got 3. I want you to compare this with what I started with. Yeah, it's exactly the same. So this is the proper factorization. I did not just get lucky with it. It works that way every time. Okay. All right, let's do several more. Okay, again, 3 terms. And the way to go with that is GCF. Okay, and I'm going to want to analyze what the A is at the end. Okay. So my GCF, do I have a negative in the front? I most certainly do not. Okay. Do you have X on everything? No. 4, 7, and 3. You're just gonna say it's 1. Okay, so I'm going to be multiplying A by C. So I'm going to take positive 4 times positive 3, and that's positive 12. Okay, so I got positive 12, so I'm going to look for a sum of 7. Okay, 1, 12. 1 plus 12 is not 7. Okay, 12 divided by 2 is a decimal. 12 divided by 3, 12 divided by 2 is not a decimal. Sorry, it's 8, but that isn't going to work. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 3 plus 4 is 7, okay? So we put the right signs, just like I have been doing. That's plus, and sum means that they have to match. So plus 3 plus 4. Okay, now here, what does A equal? A is, again, 4x squared. So it's not 1x squared. It's not like xx, so you're going to want to make 2 sets. If A is not 1x squared, you need to make 4. So I lead off with 4, and I break that x squared, so it's xx. Don't put x squared. You put 4, 4, but you break the x up. And then plus 3, plus 4. Okay, so GCF of 4 and 3 is just 1. So I'm going to leave that 4x plus 3. Okay, we just leave that alone. Leave that the way it is. Now, if you have the same number, the GCF calculator is not going to work. If you have the two of the same number, you divide by that number, 4. Okay, so that's going to become 1x plus 1. Okay, and again, if you multiply that out, it's going to wind up back here. Okay. Okay, next problem, 6x squared minus 23x plus 20. Okay. GCF and Mr. T chart. GCF, we do not have the negative in front. Also, it doesn't appear I have X on all 3 of them. Okay. 6, 23, 20 is just going to give you 1. I know it's kind of hard to believe the numbers. You'd think thered be something other than that, but there's not. Okay. So, again, I take A, B, and C. So I'm going to be taking A times C. I'm going to want to know what A equals down here. Okay, so positive 6 times 20. That's positive 120. Okay, nice. Sum. because it's positive, needs to equal 23. Okay, 120 divided by 1 is 120. There ain't no way that's 23. 120 divided by 2 is 60. 2 plus 60 is not 23. 120 divided by 3 is 40. 3 plus 40 is 43, but it's got to be 23. 120 divided by 4 is equal to 30. 4 plus 30 isn't 23. 120 divided by 5 is 24. 5 plus 24 is going to be 29. Okay. 120 divided by 6 is 20. 20 plus 6 is 26. This one's taking a long time. 120 divided by 7 is a decimal. 120 divided by 8 is 15. 8 plus 15 is 23. Okay. So I've got minus 23, so the 15's minus, and this was a sum, so the signs need to match. Okay. All right, now a is equal to 6x squared. Okay. So again, you can't call that x. You can't say x times x is 6x squared. Okay. So the way to get it properly is to lead off with that 6, because that's what we have here. And then x, and then minus 8, minus 15, okay, from up here. Okay, 6 comma 8 on the GCF is going to be 2, okay, so that's going to become 3x minus 4. 6 comma 15 into the calculator is going to be 3, so divide by 3, and that's 2x minus 5. Okay, and again, that's where we stop, because I know 3x times 2x is 6x squared, negative 4 times negative 5 is 20, and then in between you'll get those x to the first to add up to 23. Okay, 8x to the second power minus 14x plus 3, okay? Okay, GCF, it's hard to kind of keep control of the pen though. Okay, and 3. All these are 3-termers. Okay, so GCF. There ain't no negative in that first box. No negative on the first number, okay? And we don't have x on everything. So 8 comma 14 and 3, well, that's going to say it's 1 again. Okay, so I take A times C. That's positive 8 times positive 3, and that's positive 24. Okay, so I'm going to look for a sum, and that sum needs to equal 14. Okay. Okay, 1 and 24, that does not add up to 14. 24 divided by 2 is 12. That does. Okay. So I've got 14 as a minus, so minus 12. And this is a sum, so the sign should be matching. Okay. All right, a is equal to 8x to the second power. Okay. So I know that it's 8x to the second power, so I can't just go xx. Okay, I need to do a little more complex thing. So I put 8, and then x, and then minus 2, minus 12. Okay, just like that. Okay, so 8, 2, we can divide those both, GCF of 2. 8 and 12 on your calculator is a GCF of 4. Okay, so this is going to wind up as 4x minus 1, and this here winds up as 2x minus 3. Okay, so 4x minus 1 times 2x minus 3 would equal this. Okay. Okay, next up, 2x squared minus 13x minus 24. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, GCF. Do we have a negative in the front? Nope. Do you have X on everything? Nope, not, especially not 24. Okay, 2, 13, and 24. Okay, well, GCF's again just 1. Okay. Okay, so A times C. So A is positive 2, C is negative 24. Okay, it's going to be negative 48, so I got a negative, and that's going to be a difference of 13. Okay. So 1 and 48. 48 minus 1 is not 13. 48 divided by 2 is 24. 24 minus 2 is not 13. 48 divided by 3 is 16. 16 minus 3 is 13. Okay, so you got minus 13, so you got to have minus 16. Difference means they can't match. They're opposite, okay? Okay, this time A is 2x squared. Well, that's still not 1x squared, so we're going to have to use the 4. Okay, so I lead off with 2, and then I break the x up at this point, and then plus 3 minus 16. Okay, now 2 and 3, the GCF's 1, so just drop that same thing down. 2 and 16, the GCF's 2. Okay, so 1x minus 8. So there it is, 2x plus 3 times 1x minus 8. Okay, next one, 6x squared plus 7x minus 5. Okay, GCF, don't have the negative in front. X, nope, not X. And then 6, 7, and 5, the GCF's 1. Okay. Okay, so I take A times C, so it's going to be positive 6 times negative 5. Okay, that gives me negative 30. So I got a negative, so that's going to be a difference of 7. Okay. Well, 30 minus 1 isn't 7, sorry. 30 divided by 2 is 15. 15 minus 2 isn't 7. 30 divided by 3 is 10. 10 minus 3 indeed is 7, okay? All right, so I've got the plus 7. So you got a plus 10, okay? And difference means the signs can't match. So minus 3 plus 10. Now, A is a 6 here, okay? 6x squared. So when I break the x squared up, I need the 4 parentheses instead of the 2. Okay, like when it's 1x squared, it's just x and x. But okay, so 6, 6, x minus 3 plus 10. Okay, 6 comma 3, we can divide by 3, and that's 2x minus 1. Okay. 6 comma 10 divided by 2, and that's 3x plus 5. All right, we got 2 more. 3x squared plus 23x minus 36. Okay, so I GCF that. Okay, so GCF, don't have the negative in front. I don't have x on everything. 3, 23, 36 against 1. Okay. Okay, this A times C is kind of crappy. Positive 3 times negative 36 gives me negative 108. So that's fun. I need to find a difference of 23. Well, 108 minus 1 isn't 23. 2 and 54. 54 minus 2 is not 23. 108 divided by 3 is 36. 36 minus 3 is 33, not 23. And then 108 divided by 4 is 27. Okay, 27 minus 4 is that. Okay, so I got plus 23, so you got plus 24, and this is a difference, so they cannot match, okay? A equals 3x squared. Okay, so I lead with the 3, and then I break the x squared up at this point, okay? Then minus 4 plus 27. Now, 3 and 4, there's no GCF, so, or it's 1, sorry. But if it's 1, it's not going to change. It just stays the same, and then get out of here with that. 3 and 27, the GCF's 3, so it's 1x plus 9. Out of here with that. Okay, I don't think I'm going to do this one. I think after 7, you should have the hang of it down by now.